If your apartment never looks really clean despite cleaning, it's not you. But that you never learned these 35 hacks from Grandma. One of them removes lime completely without scrubbing, and you definitely don't know that one. If you never want to waste time cleaning again, subscribe to the channel now. And now have fun with the 35 best hacks that even your grandma almost forgot. Clean wooden cutting boards thoroughly with lemon and salt. It was always the same movement. The half lemon in one, the coarse salt in the other hand. With that, Grandma went over the old wooden board, calm, deliberate, without haste. The scent of the lemon rose, mixed with something warm, clean. In the fine grooves where meat and onions had lain before, nothing was noticeable afterward. No smell, no film, not even a shadow. Only wood, and a feeling of order. Who looks closely sees. That's no play. That's experience. If you do that once, you want nothing else. And you begin to understand why her kitchen was always so special. Make copper shine with lemon and salt. When copper became matte, Grandma fetched her lemon, simply halved, pressed into salt, and then led over the dark spots until the metal slowly lit up again. It was no shine like new from the store, but one with history. Warm, alive, honest. The scent of the lemon, the quiet scratching of the crystals, everything had its place. No bottle, no powder, only what was there. And every time the pot shone again, there was this amazement. Today they call that sustainable. Back then it was simply self-evident, and if you try it, you'll know exactly why. Polish brass or copper with ketchup and salt. Grandma had an eye for things that had become dull, especially with brass. When the shine was missing, she fetched the ketchup from the cabinet. A dab on the surface, some coarse salt in addition. Then she let the mixture act briefly. Gently rub, rinse off, dry rub. More was not needed. The result was no perfect high gloss, but something real. Living warmth, deep from the material brought out. She never said much about it. She just did it. And every time a hand motion like that not only saved the day, but also extended the life of a piece. Clean burnt pots with aluminum foil and salt. When the bottom of the pot was black, Grandma said only, "Get the salt and the aluminum foil." No long explaining. A ball was formed, the salt directly sprinkled into the pot. Then she rubbed the spots off, evenly, with light pressure, already loosened what otherwise stuck stubbornly. Afterward a rinse. Done. The result was clean, not sterile. It acted as if the pot had just aged, not damaged, and the cleaning a part of it. Not fight, but care. Clean discolored mugs and thermos flasks with denture cleaner. Grandma took never a brush when the flask was brown inside. She fetched a small tablet from the drawer. Warm water in addition, wait. Nothing further do. In the meantime, she did something else. After half an hour, she tipped the water away, rinsed thoroughly, placed the flask to dry in the sun. The edge was bright again, the smell neutral, the bottom clean. She trusted this means, also with vases and glass bottles. It was quiet, unexcited, almost incidental, but effective. Clean microwave with lemon steam. At Grandma's it sometimes smelled of lemon, although no one had baked. Then the microwave ran. Inside a bowl with water, in it 2 lemon halves freshly squeezed. 5 minutes hummed it. Then the door stayed closed. The steam laid through the interior, loosened fat, took odors with it. Oma opened only when it was quiet. With a cloth, she wiped the walls out. Everything was clean. The scent remained. No soap, no brush, no spots, only moisture, warmth, and lemon. She placed the bowl aside, left the door open. So simple was that. And the microwave looked as if hardly anyone had used it. Neutralize refrigerator odor with dried coffee grounds. In the fridge at Grandma's often stood a small bowl. In it, dried coffee grounds from the morning. Not much, only a spoonful, loosely distributed. She said that pulls the smell out. And it was true. No matter onions, cheese rind, or a forgotten remnant in the back compartment, the fridge smelled of nothing. The grounds lay there, acted simply. Every few days, she poured it into the garden and filled after with the next brew. Sometimes she wrapped it in a piece of paper, folded it together, laid it in the corner. No effort, but effect. So she ensured freshness, without anyone noticing. except when it was missing. Clean thermos flasks and narrow bottles with rice and dish soap. Grandma filled the thermos flask, never simply with water. She put a spoon of rice in, a splash of dish soap in addition. Then she put on the lid, held it with both hands firm, and shook. Not timid. Strongly, evenly, sometimes in rhythm to a song that no one knew anymore. The rice worked quietly inside, reached corners that no sponge ever touched. Afterward, she poured everything out, rinsed clear, and placed the flask opened at the window. If it was particularly thorough, she let the foam stand beforehand, and the rice dried she for later. It was not trash, it was tool. Descale coffee machine with vinegar. If the coffee tasted flat, Grandma cleaned the machine without first to the bean. She let a mixture of vinegar and water run through. After half, she stopped, waited. The lime should dissolve, not be rushed. Then the rest ran. She rinsed twice with clear water, sometimes also a third time. The smell disappeared. The interior gleamed. She smelled once more in, checking, before she put it back. Sometimes she laid lemon peels in and let them co-boil, not because of the lime, but because of the scent. That stayed in the room, quiet, unobtrusive, and somehow soothing. Descale shower head with a bag full of vinegar. Grandma filled a bag with vinegar, not much, just enough. Then she tied it around the shower head, slowly, with a firm knot. The metal head dipped in, disappeared half in the clear brew. She let it hang hours long, sometimes overnight. No tool, no hurry. In the morning, she took the bag off, rinsed the head with warm water. The lime was gone, the jet even again. Sometimes she brushed after with a soft toothbrush that was used for nothing else. Afterward, she wiped the fixture. It was calm, almost incidental. But the difference was noticeable. When showering, immediately. Descale fittings with vinegar and kitchen paper. A piece of kitchen paper soaked with vinegar. More was not needed. Grandma pressed it around the faucet, firm but without haste. The vinegar was allowed to act, completely in calm. There, where the lime had set, the paper laid tight, pulled itself to the metal like moist leaves. After an hour, she took it off, rinsed briefly after, rubbed everything dry. If necessary, she worked after with a soft cloth. Finally, she went over the shelf, a wipe, a nod. It was clean again. Completely self-evident. Treat shower wall with vinegar solution after showering. After showering, she didn't grab the towel immediately, but for the spray bottle, half water, half vinegar. Grandma sprayed the glass wall with it, slowly, flatly, as one wipes a table at which is eaten soon. The warm steam in the bath strengthened the effect. After short waiting, she pulled the water with the squeegee off, from top to bottom, calm and evenly. No spots, no streaks. Then the cloth hung over the heater, the bottle back into the cabinet. No word, no praise, only every seam the right accompaniment. It was the end of many a small kitchen drama. Descale kettle with vinegar. When the kettle began to crackle, Grandma reached for the vinegar. First water in, then the same proportion of clear vinegar in addition. She put it on the stove, let the mixture boil, and pulled it aside. The lime should dissolve, not be cooked. Half an hour, she let it stand, then she poured it out and boiled fresh water after twice. The smell disappeared. The interior gleamed. She smelled once more in, checking, before she put it back. Sometimes she laid lemon peels in and let them co-boil, not because of the lime, but because of the scent. That stayed in the room, quiet, unobtrusive, and somehow soothing. Mini glass shards pick up with bread, cloth, or lint roller. When the glass fell, no one said anything. Grandma fetched a piece of bread from the kitchen, soft, still slightly warm from the morning. She pressed it gently on the floor, there where the light showed the shimmer of the shards. Afterward, she went over it with a damp cloth, slowly, carefully. She knew that most was visible, but not all. Finally, she took a lint roller from the drawer and rolled over the spot. It clicked quietly. Still a remnant. She checked the floor with the eyes, then with the hand. Only when everything was quiet, she said, "Now it's good. Repair scratches in wood with walnut." The scratch in the wood was not deep, but visible. Grandma took a walnut from the glass, pressed it between the fingers drove slowly over the affected spot, always in grain direction. The tone of the wood changed, became warmer, more even. The oil stepped out, pulled in. Then she reached for a piece of old linen, polished after until the surface calmed again. The smell was bitter, almost earthy. No scratch was visible anymore, only wood that acted as if it had experienced nothing, and the hand motion part of it. Refresh wood with strong black tea. On the stove stood the can from the evening before. In it, deep black tea, strong, almost ink-colored. Grandma let it cool, dipped a linen cloth in, and stroked with it over the wood. Not everywhere, only where the surface had become dull. The tea pulled in, colored lightly, let the grain appear stronger. Once over it, then a second time. The smell was bitter, almost earthy. No varnish, no shine. Only wood that had depth again. When she was done, she laid the cloth together. It smelled of work and of calm. Polish stainless steel with baby oil or mineral oil. Grandma took a soft cloth, gave a drop of oil on it, and began with even movements to work the stainless steel surface. Always in direction of the grain, never cross. The shine came not immediately, but slowly. Only when the cloth became warm, she was satisfied. The fridge, the sink, the hood, everything got this fine shimmer, neither greasy nor artificial. Fingerprints disappeared. The steel acted calm, almost soft. If nothing else was there, a drop of cooking oil also sufficed, but never too much. Afterward, the cloth was folded and laid in the drawer, ready for the next time. Prevent fogged mirrors with shaving foam. Before the first steam rose on the mirror, Grandma was already done. She took a soft cloth, gave some shaving foam on it, and distributed it on the glass, thin, evenly, without hurry. Then she polished with the dry part of the cloth after, until the mirror was clear again, not gleaming, but calm. Afterward, she let it in peace. At the next shower, it stayed free, even if the whole bath fogged, no drop set. When visit came, she did that a day before. The smell of shaving foam, the end of the fog. It was the end of a small annoyance. Clean white sneakers with baking soda and vinegar. White sneakers became gray over time, but Grandma didn't throw them away. She mixed baking soda with vinegar to a paste, brushed it on the soles and the upper, and let it act. Then scrubbed with an old toothbrush, rinsed under running water, and let dry in the sun. The shoes gleamed white again, as if newly bought. A small hack that saved money and kept the favorites in use. Clean oven door with baking soda paste. The oven door stood open. Grandma stirred in a small bowl a paste, baking soda and water, not too thin. She took an old soup spoon, stroked the mass over the glass, slowly, evenly. Then she let it act. Half an hour later, she wiped with a damp cloth over it. The coating dissolved, as if it had never belonged there. A final polishing, then the pane was clear again. No word, no praise, only every look through clean. Clean grill grates with half onion. Before something came on the grate, Grandma took an onion, large, firm, halved. She stuck it on a fork and rubbed with it over the hot metal, slowly, track for track. The steam rose, mixed with the onion juice, dissolved fat and smell. No foam, no means, only heat and a cut surface. The grate became clear, the grill ready. Sometimes she took a second half if it was much from last time. Afterward, she laid the onion aside, said nothing. The sound that arose therein she liked. It sounded like preparation, and the evening could come. Remove rust on cutlery or metal with potato. A spoon with reddish edge lay in the glass. Flight rust, said Grandma, and fetched the half potato from the bowl. She pressed it on the spot, let act briefly, rubbed gently. The dark gave way. She rinsed everything clear, dried carefully with the dish towel that was only for such things. Afterward, she laid the cutlery back and said only quietly, "If one doesn't dry metal, it starts to sigh." Clean drain with baking soda, salt, and hot water. Sunday evening. The kitchen was quiet. Grandma took a small bowl, filled it with baking soda and salt to equal parts. Both she poured one after the other into the drain. Then she fetched the water boiler from the stand. The water was hot, but not boiling. She poured it slowly in. Nothing hectic, no hissing, only a quiet gurgle from the pipe. Afterward, she let the drain in peace. Overnight, nothing smelled. She said, water shouldn't hunt, but work, and if it bubbled, she smiled. Then she knew that everything was good. Brighten white laundry with lemon water. The big pot already stood on the stove. In it swam lemon slices, slowly circling in the hot water. Grandma let them steep, then she put the white kitchen towels in. fabrics that had become dull. She pressed them under, covered the pot with a cloth. An hour later, she took them with a wooden tong out, laid them on a sieve. Then they went into the machine, without additions, only a wash cycle, only clear water. Later, she hung them in the sun. The light did the rest. When one folded them, they smelled not of freshness, but of effort that had been worth it. Mop floor with cleaning vinegar. In the bucket steamed the water. Grandma poured half a cup of vinegar in, stirred briefly with the handle of the mopping. The smell was strong, evaporated, but quickly. She wrung the cloth well out and mopped the hallway in long, straight tracks. No rubbing or foaming, only moist clarity. When she was done, she stood briefly, regarded the floor in the light. She said nothing about it, laid the mopping back, the bucket aside, and went barefoot over the tiles, not to check, but because she liked it when it was clean under the feet. Clean glass without lint, with coffee filters. The window was cleaned, but still moist. Grandma reached into the drawer, pulled a single coffee filter out, folded it in the middle, and laid it on the glass surface. The filter took the rest up, without a hint of lint. She went slowly further, one window after the other. When she was done, she tapped the filter out and laid it in the waste paper. No word, no praise, only every lookout calm, because nothing more lay in between. Just like she always had it. Remove black streaks on floor with tennis ball. Grandma bent not gladly for every small thing. Therefore, she stuck the old tennis ball on the broomstick. The ball broke lightly off. She pressed lightly, moved the ball over the trace until only smooth floor remained. The rubber traces disappeared, the shine remained. When she was done, the ball stood again next to the broom, always ready. She said nothing about it, but if one observed her, one knew that was no game. That was care, and a floor that was respected. Keep ceiling fan dust-free with a pillowcase. A stool already stood ready. Grandma took the old pillowcase from the cabinet, folded it open, and grabbed with it the first blade of the fan. She pushed the fabric slowly over it, closed the hands around the blade, and pulled it evenly back. The dust remained inside. No crumb fell. Blade for blade. She spoke not, hummed only quietly to herself. Afterward, the case was shaken out, directly into the laundry laid. Everything clean, without whirl. The fan turned later, quiet and light, so as she liked it, without anything catching the eye, except when it wasn't done. Loosen burnt stainless steel with baking soda and water. The pot was black at the bottom. Grandma put it on the stove, poured water in, stirred with the wooden spoon 2 spoons of baking soda in addition. The water began quietly to bubble. She let it simmer briefly, then turned the stove off. It smelled neutral, lightly of iron. The pot stood there, steaming, as if breathing itself. After cooling, she wiped with a soft cloth over the coating that dissolved as if by itself. No scratches, no pressure, only patience and the right measure. Afterward, it gleamed again, and Grandma let it dry in the air, so it became really clean. Remove rust spots on cutlery or sink with lemon juice and salt. At the sink lay a spoon with reddish edge. Flight rust, said Grandma, and fetched the half lemon from the bowl. She pressed the juice directly on the spot, sprinkled some salt over it, let act briefly, rubbed gently. The dark gave way. She rinsed everything clear, dried carefully with the kitchen towel that was only for such things. Afterward, she laid the cutlery back and said only quietly, "If one doesn't dry metal, it starts to sigh." Clean kitchen cabinet fronts from grease films with flour. Over the stove stuck a film, invisible and yet noticeable. Grandma reached for the old flour bag that hung in the pantry, slightly dusty from the linen. She sprinkled a small handful on a cloth, rubbed with it over the cabinet doors. Slowly, circling, almost incidental. The flour took the fat up, became gray, crumbly, heavy. She changed the cloth, wiped after. With patience and warmth lay a touch of flower scent in the air. When she was done, the wood gleamed matte, clean, dry. Then she leaned back, regarded her work, and said, "That suffices for today." Seal old glasses against dust with newspaper. In Grandma's pantry shelf stood the glasses close together, some full with rice or dried dill, others empty, but ready. If a lid was missing or wobbled, Grandma reached for the newspaper. No big fuss. A piece fold, lay on, tie firm with a string. The glass stayed clean, even after months in the shelf. The printer's ink held dust and moths away. Sometimes she scribbled directly on the paper what was in it. The glasses stood cool, with the back to the wall. No plastic, no effort. Only paper, patience, and a glance that had everything in grip. And this scent of old wood and printer's ink. Soak socks in vinegar water against detergent residues. Grandma took the socks from the laundry basket, smelled briefly at them, and shook the head. Clean, but dull. She filled the sink with lukewarm water, poured a shot of vinegar in, and laid the socks in, as if laying them to sleep. Half an hour she let them rest. Then she rinsed them clear and hung them outside. The fibers became soft again, almost like new. When the wind blew through the line, they fluttered light. And Grandma said quietly that now they can breathe again. Clean brushes with hair shampoo. On the windowsill lay Grandma's old shaving brush, the bristles lightly fanned out, still moist from rinsing. She took it regularly in hand, dipped it in lukewarm water, gave a drop of shampoo in addition, and drove with the fingers gently through the hair. The shampoo dissolved even fine remnants, paint pigments, skin fat, dust. Everything disappeared. She rinsed it thoroughly and laid it to dry flat on the cloth. Soft, clean, in form. So the brush lasted forever. Sometimes she said, "What is good for the head doesn't harm the brush, either. Make sewing needles smoother with soap." The soap lay in a small box, dented from use, but with lid. Grandma opened it only when the needle balked. Then she pulled the metal through the firm piece, slowly, with consideration. A fine film remained back, almost invisible, but one felt it as soon as the needle glided through the linen. The seam became even, the thread calmer. Her fingers moved safer, the work lighter. She said not much about it, only sometimes. Whoever sews needs patience and a needle that cooperates. The soap helped. So like Grandma with simple hacks made her home warm and lively, you can also transform your rooms. Try one of these tips right away and experience the difference. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more ideas. Your home deserves this love.